Hey guys, it's Nick and Ryan here, ready to do another, well, what we used to call record review.
Yeah, we're all, and this is a little different too. I'm actually here this time.
Yep.
I usually am filming from Phoenix. Here I am back in Rockford, hanging out with my buddy Nick. We're excited about this week. We're doing a little bit different this week. It was Nick's birthday yesterday.
Yep.
So we kind of had this idea of we kind of wanted to do Nick's, favorite album of all time kind of thing. We're gonna do that from time to time. So this one isn't anything that's newer or coming out, but it is something that you may never have listened to, and something that is big not only in Nick's life but my life as well. This was probably one of the most influential albums of our lifetime. But this is Blink 182, "Take Off Your Pants and Jacket," which, if you have never really listened to Blink 182, is a very funny name for an album, but also brilliantly done, as they have always done in their careers, to be comical in a way, but tasteful and just kind of hit all the marks when it comes to their mentality.
Take off pants, jacket.
Yes, but a really awesome album. We were talking about Blink 182. Most of you have probably heard that band name before, but Blink 182 is a band that's been around for a very, very, very long time. Have had, God, they probably, how many albums do they have, do you think now? Probably
Well, nine was the
nine.
last one. It's
Yeah.
called Nine.
Does that include the live album
I think
as
it
well?
might.
Yeah. But it was, they have been around for a long time. They were at the forefront of kind of the pop punk scene. And this album right here was, to me, I think their best album. Not their most popular one. Their most popular one was Enema of the State, which is where you probably have heard like All the Small Things and What's My Age Again was their big hits. That's kind of when
That was the
they
record
blew up.
right before this one.
Right, that was the one before this one. Then this one came out, and this one
2001?
was it.
2001.
Yep, that makes sense. And this album was just unique in the sense of it was almost like Blink 182 had taken that next kind of step. Just a little background on Blink 182. Their first few albums did not have Travis Barker, which is their drummer. It was a different drummer at the time, and he was more of a straightforward punk rock style of drummer, more straightforward beats. It wasn't until they added Travis Barker here is when they really took off. Enema of the State, I believe, was the first album he was the drummer on, and he added something that couldn't have been added by anybody else. We're going to talk about Travis Barker here in a little bit. We also have Tom DeLonge as well. Tom DeLonge is one of the singers, guitar players. He's also a very influential person in the music scene from my age area, my genre. He's in a bunch of other groups as well, like Boxcar Racer, another phenomenal group, Angels and Airwaves, a great listen to as well. A lot of good stuff. And then Mark Hoppus, he's the bass player. Those of you that, if you play bass guitar, and you definitely, from my genre, we learned Blink 182 songs first. And there's a famous bass part that Mark played for a song called Carousel. And that was always what you played when you learned how to play bass guitar. And we're in the punk rock scene. Mark did a couple other, Plus 44.
Yep.
But that was really the only other thing he really did. A couple guest appearances on some starting line stuff, I believe, or some random things like that. But overall, great group, great album. We're going to kind of go into a couple of the songs and kind of talk about why we loved this album. What was it for you, Nick?
Well, I mean, obviously we were in high school when this came out, and this whole thing got played back to front. Obviously, the first, well, I shouldn't say their first album because it wasn't their first album, but the one before this with What's My Age Again, and, I liked those songs. The rest of the album was good, but it didn't grab our generation like this one did.
Sure.
I felt like we connected to it, but this album, like, I don't know, it's just a timepiece in our lives.
Yeah.
Where I don't feel that with
Enema of the
Enema
State.
of the State.
It was almost like Enema of the State kind of had this feel that they were creating this album. It was almost that time where that type of music was getting popularized, and Enema of the State was kind of the staple for that.
Yeah.
This one felt more like,
It's way deeper.
yeah,
It's way more meaningful. It's way deeper. It took them a lot longer to put this thing together. They put a lot of effort into it, and they toured the crap out of it. And I mean, I got in trouble for wearing a "Take Off My Pants and Jacket" shirt high school.
Really?
Yeah, I had
funny.
to turn that bad boy inside out at middle school or something. So.
That's really funny.
So, yeah, I think a lot of people, they listened to Blink-182 and they tried the first album, or Enema, and it wasn't for them, and they passed. That was it. They were like, I'm done. That's not for me. I don't like
Anybody I try to turn on to Blink-182 that's never really listened to them, they always look them up, and Enema of the State is the first one that
always
comes
comes
up,
up.
because I mean that album
Those
was
are the
probably
biggest
platinum. Like, that was huge. I mean
Yeah.
that whole, I mean, it took over the world there for a stretch. I always try to get them to listen to this album first. This one is more grown up. I've watched a lot of interviews with these guys. I mean, these guys are some of the most influential musicians in my early playing career, and I watched a lot of interviews with them, and they said that after Enema of the State, they didn't want to do another bubblegum pop punk album like that.
Yep.
They wanted to prove to everybody that they were musicians, and that they took this seriously, and this was their passion and their love. And that's kind of where they separated themselves from the rest of that genre. And anybody that was a fan of them pre Enema of the State, I think, was a little angry at Enema of the State a little bit, and then came back and was like, take off your pants and jacket was what we were looking for.
Yep.
The writing is better. The parts are better. The structures of the songs are better. The flow of the album is great. It starts off with my favorite song, Anthem Part 2. Great start to an album. Gets you jacked, gets you juiced.
Yeah.
Just a good song overall. The two big songs on the album were Rock Show and First Date. Yeah.
Those were their two big singles.
Yeah.
So if maybe you may have heard that. Obviously, First Date, I think, was one of my mom's favorite songs.
Yeah.
Rock Show, also another classic. And then what was the one that was the third single? Was
Stay Together for the Kids.
Stay Together for the Kids.
Yeah.
Which that music video was debuted like just days after 9/11.
Oh, did it really?
And they got pulled or whatever. There's a big controversy with that music video in 9/11. They were just so sad and so
in the
dark.
video. They are in a building, and the building is getting destroyed.
Yeah.
With
9/11 and
right.
what happened. And
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
They had to change it. They came out right about the same time. So
That's crazy.
A little bit of kind of put you back in a timepiece. But yeah, if you're looking for some pop punk, some upbeat rock, check out this specific Blink-182 record. What we're saying is Blink-182 always gets hitched up on that one record, and they missed a lot. And to be honest, the one after this, the self-titled, is also even more like The Cure.
Yeah.
And
yes.
And
I Miss You was the big one off of that one. But
Yep.
This was definitely that bridge between the pop punk and the kind of grown-up style of
Yes.
Blink-182. And you really get a sense from this album to their self-titled. You get a sense of where they ended up going as they branched off. We talked about Tom DeLonge doing Boxcar Racer and Angels and Airwaves. You really get those feels of those bands in this album and their self-titled. But Travis Barker, I want to talk about him.
let's get into their projects and get
Travis
into that.
Barker, to me, is one of the greatest musicians of our time period. I put him up there with like Dave Grohl and some of those guys. He is one of my idols.
We always loved his stuff growing up.
His musicianship, the way he can play the drums, his versatility, his speed, his ability to, he almost creates a beat that you don't even hear. As he's playing, he does a lot of fills with intros and different types of breaks and songs. It's almost like it doesn't sound real. He's so good at his craft and good at what he does. I follow him on a couple different things. He'll post some videos of him just doing his normal chops and warm-ups. And it's amazing. He does hip hop stuff. He creates beats for a wide variety of hip hop artists. Machine Gun Kelly.
Yep. He did the whole album. The Machine Gun Kelly's, I think, whole album was with him.
Yeah,
he did all the drumming in the whole album.
Yep, and he does stuff with marching bands. He'll practice with a marching band and go out and just rock the snare drum of some of these universities and things like that. He does DJ stuff. He's done DJ stuff. Yep. He's survived a plane crash. I mean, he was the only one that survived the plane crash. Yeah. And DJ AM was his good buddy.
But then he died.
Yeah, and those guys, and so he's somebody that I not only respect in the music world, but just as a person in general. just a phenomenal human being, and I'm so grateful to have been able to live during his peak of his music career, because he's given me music that I'll take with me to my grave, kind of thing.
Yeah, he definitely, obviously he came out of this band. Blink-182 is, the band of the genre, and now he's like a lot of people. They get into producing, and that's what he's doing. He is on so many other records, pop music now, hip hop music. Like you said, he's in all sorts of different projects, and he's still in Blink-182, who they still put records out slowly. Like they've always put them out. It's taken them years usually to put out a record, and they still do that. But he has so many side projects. Yellow Wolf. He's with those guys. I mean, so he's kind of everywhere right now. Even current day, he's everywhere.
He's probably more relevant now than he's ever been when it comes to the work that he puts out.
I think you're absolutely right.
And it's crazy though, all the work that he's done. This album to me is the best work that he's done. His drum parts in this album are just awesome. There's the differences between these bands. There's a lot of pop punk bands, especially a lot of popular ones too. But there's little differences that make certain bands unique, and what has made an album or a group who they are. And Travis Barker is the backbone of Blink-182. Tom DeLonge is the show. Travis Barker is the band. When you listen to their first couple albums, Buddha, Cheshire Cat, things like that, their older drummer, still a good drummer, but a straightforward pop punk drummer. Didn't bring the flavor.
Nope.
As soon as Barker got put into that band is when
I gave it the pop. It set it apart. Yep. That's why they rose to number one.
They're next level. So I hope you listen to this album, and when you do, I want you to pay attention to the drums. His ability to make a song drive. He's one of the few drummers that even fits in some different dynamics and different. He plays the rims of the drums a lot. He has different snare drums, different sounds for different types of songs and different parts. His hi-hat work is unreal.
Yeah.
He's unreal.
It's cool stuff to watch on YouTube and
stuff.
Yes, awesome.
His chops are of none other. He's the type of drummer too where he could probably play any type of music. You could sit him down and play jazz. You could put him in a big band. You can put him wherever you want, and he will wow you. So a big fan of that.
All right, are we going to talk about this split?
Yes.
So moving on, we move on to Tom DeLonge here, middle guy, who was the show, who was in the band. The band did eventually split. The other guys wanted to get back together. Mark here and Travis wanted to keep on with Blink-182. Tom had a lot of other stuff on his plate, other bands, movie projects. Yeah. Started a university to find aliens.
Yeah, he's big in the UFOs, and if you've seen some interviews with him recently, he is all in.
He's all in on that. So, he's busy doing that. These guys want to still tour. Mm-hmm. They filled in. They got the guy from Alkaline Trio. Mm-hmm. Excuse me. What's his name?
I'm not sure what his name is, but yeah, he took over for Tom right now.
So those three are touring Blink-182 when you see them out. Obviously, no one's been touring the last year and a half, but so I'm sure eventually there's going to be a reunion.
Oh yeah,
all four will get back together, or the original three, and they'll probably keep the Alkaline Trio guy in too. Until that day, it's just going to be the other three, and then Mark. He's been in a lot of other side projects.
Yeah, just
his own stuff.
He'll make appearances. Douglas. He'll make appearances on other albums, other artists' albums, things like that. He's kind of more just kind of. I saw he started his own YouTube channel where you can watch him play D&D.
Yeah, I saw that. It was the newest one
or something like that. And he's out there just playing. So the thing about these guys, and there's a live album, the Mark, Tom, and Travis show.
Yeah.
They're hilarious. They are seeing them live is not just seeing their music, but their banter back and forth. It's funny because when Enema of the State was big and All the Small Things and What's My Age Again were on the radio playing all the time, parents were taking these kids to see Blink-182 perform those big hit songs, not realizing that these guys are just punk rock kids off the street in Southern California. They don't have a filter. They're
telling all sorts of real great
vulgar
jokes.
Stuff,
Vulgar jokes.
I remember when they were touring at their peak, their parents weren't sure what they were getting themselves into. And I remember seeing them live and parents being just horrified at what they brought their child to see.
But we thought it was hilarious.
And everyone else thought it was funny, yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's all just fart and poop jokes, mostly. Dick jokes. So,
They did a cool thing with this album, too. Oops, my bad. If you notice the cover here, we got the take-off pants and your jacket. When you bought the CD, you did not know which version you were getting. It was one of these three. And
we're talking, by the way, about the original cloth digipack cover, because they later did put it in a regular CD case.
And you can get all three of them.
You got all the hidden songs.
When it first was released.
When it first came out.
You got one of these. And when you opened it, you weren't sure what you were getting. Because I remember I was surprised by it, because our friend Lee was the first of my buddies to get this album. And he got... He got the jacket, and I got, I believe, the pants.
I got the plain.
So yeah, but at the end of each album, there was a different.
There's 2 different tracks on the back.
Yeah, different secret tracks. So
and this package, this version I have, this is a real. I bought this, I don't know, 10 years ago. It's got the takeoff, the pants, and the jacket with all. So these are 7 inches, and they got the 2 different tracks. They put all of them together in this cool package. So this is not in print anymore. This is actually a version from SRC vinyl. It was expensive when it came out because there was no other pressing of this. You could probably still find them, but I bet they're over $100 now with the 3 7-inches. They actually did 2 versions. They did a pink vinyl and then black 7 inches. This one is the black vinyl, and the 7 inches are actually colored.
So you got like this is a cool,
neat,
cool version. Yeah,
color.
That's awesome.
So I mean, at the time, this is obviously, we talked about this being one of our all-time favorite records. Like, I had to have it. I didn't really care. Well, nowadays, I think we have these on our website for like $26. It's just a single LP. It's not this is a trifold. The single LP is not a trifold. It does not come with 3 7 inches. But I do like that it's like $26.
Yeah, that's cool.
Because I think I paid like $75 for this thing. So it was not cheap. But I did get all the extra goodies. And at the time, like I said, there was no option.
I wish I would have done it. That's cool.
So
it's cool to have. That's a keeper for sure.
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I didn't have an option at the time. I wanted it, and I bought it. So we all kind of been there, done that.
But if you're looking for, like Nick said, a good rock album, a good album to jam to,
drive around to,
driving record is great.
It's mostly upbeat. I mean, there's a couple deeper songs on here, but I mean, I think the lyrically it's sadder than it is. Like, the music is very upbeat.
Yeah.
It's very positive. It's very fun. They do take on some serious issues. Stay Together for the Kids, obviously.
Yeah, that's a big one.
They take on some serious issues, but I think overall this record will get you in a good mood.
Absolutely.
It's very upbeat, like, hard, fun, fast rocking album.
Absolutely.
That pretty much everybody should check out.
It is probably one of my favorite albums of all time. It is not my favorite album of all time. We will be doing one of those at some point.
When Ryan's birthday comes around,
we'll do that one. But for right now, if you're looking for something great to listen to, Blink-182, Take Off Your Pants and Jacket is on top of my list for sure.
Yep, it's definitely, I would say, on both of our probably top 5s.
Yep, absolutely.
That'd be on my top 5 of all time. So
absolutely.
Check this out if you're looking for something different. We are playing around with changing the title of these shows. It's been Ryan's Record Reviews. We don't feel that accurately really represents what we're talking about, because we're not really reviewing these albums. We're just trying to get you to rediscover and find something new, maybe find something that you're into.
Our goal is to kind of just open your eyes, find some new music.
Yeah. We're not here to say something sucks.
No. There's so much music out there. Sometimes it's overwhelming and kind of hard to sift through. And we tend to get, listening to the radio is not like listening to the radio back in the 60s and 70s where you could discover new music.
Yep.
Now it's just kind of music slammed down your throats kind of thing.
Yep.
So our goal is to get you to maybe try something new. Maybe hear an album you've never heard of before, and hope that it tickles you in a way that it's tickled us.
I think we do. Obviously, we've been doing all different genres, types of records. We're gonna hit something. If you're watching, we do appreciate it. Hit that subscribe button, like it, share it, comment, whatever. But like I said, we do our favorites. We do metal. We've done bluegrass. We've done country. We're doing all genres. So no matter what it is, check us out and we're going to find something you like.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely.
Until then, We will see you next week here.
Sounds good.
Take it easy, guys.